Welcome back to the channel. Today we're off to Castle Combe, voted the prettiest village in England in 1961. It's been the backdrop of many a movie, including Robin Hood, War Horse and Dr. Dolittle. Believe it or not, there have been no new houses built in the village since the 1600s. So we're going down there today to take a look.
The Cotswolds covers a huge area, almost 800 square miles, and runs through 5 counties in the southwest of England, namely Gloucestershire, Oxfordshire, Warwickshire, Wiltshire and Worcestershire. Running through the Cotswolds is one of Britain's oldest roads, Fosse Way. This 230-mile Roman road was constructed in the mid-1st century, built upon more ancient tracks that provided trade from north to south. The Romans developed it to run along the Roman frontier from Lincoln to Exeter. Somerset and further west had lead, coal and other metals, whereas Wales to the west had gold and silver. These would have always been traded up and down the Fosse Way. The name Fosse is derived from Latin fossa, meaning ditch, which the Romans are said to have dug alongside the road. Many Roman villas are located along the Fosse Way, the largest concentration being in the Cotswolds. I recently published a short film of the one at Great Whitcombe near Gloucester. I'll leave a link to it above. The remains of another villa is located at Castle Combe, less than a mile east of Fosse Way, which contains 16 rooms and a large bath suite. So I'm just south of Castle Combe in a beautiful forest. Back in the 1800s, not far from here, they uncovered a large Roman villa, and it was properly excavated, I believe, about 15 years ago. The problem is it's on private land, so I don't know how close I can get to it, but we'll have a look. Just noticed this extremely old stone wall, covered in moss now, so it's quite hard to see, but that thing looks like it's hundreds of years old. I wonder if that has anything to do with the boundary of the Roman villa, because we are pretty close now. Right, we're not going to get any closer to it. We are now literally about 50 yards from it. Unfortunately, it's the other side of this never-ending thicket of small trees. And to make matters worse, this public footpath, which runs adjacent to the field, is covered with this canopy, which means it's going to be very difficult to get a drone up. Well, sadly, that was a heck of a walk for not much of a result. I couldn't see the villa. I couldn't even see any signs of it. So I'll have to go back and do some more research. That would have been a luxurious villa in its day. Sadly, there's not a lot left now, just rubble and foundations. The one at Great Whitcomb, which I went to a while back, check out the video, that's in much better condition. But this seems to be a lot larger. So anyway, we're going to go into Castle Combe now, see what that has to offer. There's loads of history in there. So back on the bike. About 800 metres to the north, at the start of Castle Combe village, is a small but very pretty Roman bridge. It crosses the Bybrook River, a 12-mile tributary of the Avon to the south. Castle Combe has been called the prettiest village in England, and with good reason. Visitors have been coming to enjoy its charms for at least a century, and the small street leading from the Market Cross down to the Bybrook is as picturesque today as it ever was. Although Castle Combe's history goes back much further than this. The site of the Motte and Bailey Castle lies just to the north of the village, but little other than the earthworks now mark its one-time presence. By the Middle Ages, the village in the valley had become an important centre for the wool industry. The spinsters and weavers lived in the cottages, hence names such as Weaver's House, and the river, still known as Bybrook, provided the power to run the mills. In more recent times, the village has played host to many filming activities, the most famous of these being Dr. Dolittle, filmed in and around the village in 1966. More recently, the village has had a major role in Warhorse, Stardust, and The Wolfman. The village is also a sanctuary to wildlife, as it is a conservation area and enjoys the beauty of nature at its very best. The village houses are all of typical Cotswold type, constructed in limestone with thick walls and roofs made from split natural stone tiles. The properties are many hundreds of years old and are listed as ancient monuments. Strict rules apply to preserve the beauty and character of Castle Combe for later generations to admire. Although there are obvious signs of a thriving village from the medieval period, there were much earlier residents in this wooded valley. Long before the Romans settled in Britain in 43 AD, there is evidence of an early Celtic pagan temple where St Andrew's Church now stands. Originally founded in the 13th century, the church building has grown and evolved over the centuries. The nave was added in the 14th century and the tower completed in the 16th century. As a result of the church falling into serious disrepair, a substantial amount of rebuilding of the church had to take place in 1850 to 1851. Following the Norman invasion of England in 1066, lands of the defeated Saxon aristocracy were bestowed by King William I on his knights. Castle Combe's manor estate was bestowed on a nobleman, Humphrey de Lisle. His daughter married Reginald de Dunstanville, who became the first Baron of Castle Combe. For over 850 years, Castle Combe was a barony, and evidence of the lords of the manor and their families through this period can be found in the church and churchyard. The tower was started in 1434 with monies from the local wealthy wool merchants and from the estate of Sir John Fastolf. The tower's beautiful fan vault ceiling is reminiscent of Bath Abbey. On the north side of the church is a superb carved stone monument of a Norman knight, Sir Walter de Dunstanville, Baron of Castle Combe, who died in 1270. Above the tomb, a stained glass window displays the coats of arms of the Scroop family, who were lords of the manor for almost 500 years before selling the estate at auction to a member of the Lancastrian Gorst family in 1867. The base of the tower houses one of the oldest working faceless medieval clocks in Britain, built by a local blacksmith in the 1400s. Villagers would tell the time by listening to the bell chime on the hour. The lord of the manor in the 12th century, Walter de Dunstanville, built his castle when the area saw violent times. However, by the 14th century, England became more peaceful, and a manor house was built 500 metres to the south, resulting in the castle falling into disuse. Most of the original manor, apart from a grain drying kiln and granary, were destroyed by a fire in the 17th century. It was then rebuilt to what we see today. A scroll showing the heraldic lineage of the families who have owned the manor since the Norman conquest hangs in the hotel front hall. Sir John Falstaff, who was lord of the manor from 1390 to 1460, was reputedly the character and inspiration that Shakespeare based his Sir John Falstaff upon. Outside the hotel are 26 acres of grounds, bordering the River Bybrook, with the outline of the old carriage drive still seen in the lawn. Just above the manor lies an Italian-style garden, which feature a pair of spires over garden seats, one of which came from the bell tower of the nearby church. A further 900 metres to the north, just above the village of Castle Combe, is the site of the Motte Bailey Castle, which is now completely covered with trees and undergrowth.
So the old castle was situated north, probably about half a mile of Castle Combe, up high on a hill, just by the Bybrook River, which is a tributary of the Avon. So Castle Combe is that way, and we are going that way. So I don't know if you can see, where is it? Yeah, up there on the hill is where the old castle was. It looks like we're actually running adjacent to a golf course. So if you see me hit the deck, it's because someone's just lobbed a ball at me. Well, it wouldn't be a Lambourne video without mud. There we go. Fortunately, it looks like we have options. Let's try this one. Perfect for now. It's pretty cool. It's a beautiful bridge. Look at that. And this here is the Bybrook River. Right, we've got to the hill where the old castle's located, and boy, is it overgrown. Well, we're here, have a butcher's. No sign of any paths either. Unless you call this a path. Looks like a little fox path or something. Right, I've just come up through all those trees, totally out of breath. That's a very steep hill. It's all wet and damp and everything's breaking underfoot as well, so I had to put the camera away in case I slipped. But at the top, oh, there's a small plane going above us. So at the top it seems like I've got to the outer ditch which surrounds the Motte Bailey, or should I say Motte Baileys, because one of the very unique and interesting facts about the Castle Combe Castle is that it has one motte, but definitely 4 Baileys, potentially 5, and that is extremely rare. So, don't know if you can see that. The ditch stretches on for quite some time, which is a good indicator on the size of the fortification above. That hill looks like a big one to get up. Right, certainly signs of ancient life now. We got a little stone walkway. So the original stone castle was built in or around 1140 by Reginald de Dunstanville, who was the first Earl of Cornwall. It stayed in his family until the 1300s, when it changed hands along with the baronship. But it went into decay shortly afterwards, which is very odd. Well, that wasn't the first fortification here on this hill. Prior to that, there was some kind of wooden structure here dating back to the Saxon times, so 8th century, and it was apparently attacked and taken over by the Danes, so, or the Vikings as we like to call them. But even then, that wasn't the earliest fortification. There are signs and finds of earlier settlement on this hill dating back to the Iron Age, putting it around, well, certainly the first millennia BC, so potentially 3,000 years ago. I'm going to go up there. So it's quite fascinating. They found a lot of stuff on here, despite the fact it hasn't been properly excavated. Now, part of that reason is because of its location. It's very overgrown, as you can see. Oh wow, look what I just found. Well, I'm sure someone found it before me, but I did read up on this. This is the remnants of an old tower from the castle that was built in 1140. I wonder if this is the best remaining example of that castle. It's a shame if it is. I have to get the metal detector out down here. I bet there's loads going on. Right, this is becoming hard work now. That is a jungle of stinging nettles. I don't know if you can tell. I'm not going to bother with that. But there's your tower. It's got to be 3.5, 4 meters tall. I wonder what was at the bottom though. Wow. Let's walk up here. Try not to fall in. I'm guessing we're on the tallest bit now, which makes sense because that's where you'd put a tower for a lookout. But we're completely surrounded by trees now. Back in the day though, you would have had beautiful views. This bridge must have been commissioned by the original people who built the manor house. Very pretty. In geological terms, Coombe simply means a dry valley or hollow in a limestone escarpment. So Castle Coombe basically means castle in the dry valley.
About 700 metres to the east of the village is what most folk commonly associate with Castle Coombe, its race circuit, the West Country's home of motorsport that has been welcoming fans of racing, car shows and events for the past 70 years.
Right, just arrived at Castle Coombe Circuit. There's a steam rally on today. Very busy in there. I can't get in because I haven't got a ticket, but I'll see if I can get the bird up and see what's going on. Back in the car, on my way home. What an adventure that was. Beautiful village. I can see why it's been voted the prettiest village in England. Anyway, if you do want more content like this, please give the video a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's free, don't cost a penny. And ding that notification bell so you are alerted when the next video comes out. Anyway, that's me prattling on, over and out. See you later, folks. Cheers.